Hello, good evening, students. Welcome back to NEET Due JN classes. So I hope you are listening the classes and you are understanding the classes. If you understand the class, please do subscribe and like, and don't forget to get comment and asking the doubts in case of any concept that you're having any doubt, the concept that feeling difficulty, please do comments. And yesterday we discussed about the structural organization concept. Introduction is completed, and we discussed about the one tissue that is completed, which is known as epithelial tissue. A little bit is in the balance, compound epithelium, that we will discuss later. So epithelial tissue, that is completed almost. And after epithelial tissue, there are four types of tissues that are present in the animal body that we discussed yesterday. And that four types of tissue, first one is the epithelial tissue that we completed. And next one is the connective tissue, and I told the most abundant tissue in the human being body is the connective tissue. This you have to be keep in your mind. The most abundant tissue in the human being body is connective tissue, and today we are going to discuss about that connective tissue. Yes, connective tissue. You should not forget one word. Tissue means group of cells. And what is it? Connective tissue. These group of cells are connecting with each and every part of they're linked with each and every tissue. For example, connective tissue is linked with the epithelial tissue, connective tissue is connected with the muscular tissue, and the connective tissue is also connected with the neural tissue. So they are linked with all the tissues, and by linking those all the tissue, they will provide support and they will provide protection. Yes, the connective tissue first of all, the basic thing, this connective tissue is the most abundant tissue. Yes, it is the most abundant tissue in the human being body. And as of I discussed that the origin of connective tissue is mesodermal in origin. Means this tissue is made up by the germinal layer. Which germinal layer means mesoderm. So the origin of connective tissue is mesoderm. Now it is the most abundant tissue. Yes, fine. And this connective tissue is majorly responsible to provide support. And not only support, it is also responsible to protect the other tissues, or also called them as organs, because organ is made up of a tissue. The connective tissue major function is providing the support and protecting the other organs. This you have to be remember. And this connective tissue ranges from where to where it ranges. It ranges from what level to what level? Yes, the connective tissue that ranges from soft, which is a very smooth, soft connective tissue, to it ranges up to the specialized connective tissue. Ranges. It ranges from where? Some of the connective tissue is very soft, smooth, and some of the connective tissues are responsible to perform some specialized functions. So it ranges from the soft connective tissue to it ranges to the specialized connective tissue. Yes, so what are the specialized connective tissues? The specialized connective tissue includes, number one is bone. Yes, bone is a connective tissue. Yes, it is supporting our entire body. What is the major function of the connective tissue? Supporting it as well as protecting. Yes, bones are protecting each and every internal organs. For example, here lungs are present and the heart is present, and all are protected by the bones, which are on the ribs. Yes, supporting. And not only the bone, along with the bone, cartilage is also a specialized connective tissue. Along with the cartilage, blood is also the specialized connective tissue. And last one is the adipose tissue, nothing but fat. It is also a specialized connective tissue. So the connective tissue that ranges from soft, very soft, to the specialized, to perform the special functions. Yes, what are the specialized connective tissue? Means bones, cartilage, blood, and as well as the adipose tissue. Okay, fine. What is this connective tissue? First of all, tissue means a group of cells. What those cells? First thing, what are those cells? And you remember here, this connective tissue contains cells. All these are the cells. Like this, there is a presence of cells. All these are the cells. These are the cells. The cells are located very far. They are located very far. And you remember, each and every cell definitely contains a what? Nucleus. Yes, there is a presence of the nucleus is present. Like this, the nucleus is present. I am telling about the connective tissue means what here? And these cells are secreting the matrix. They are secreting something. Yes, they are secreting into the space. This space is called interstitial space. Into the interstitial space, those cells are secreting something like this. There is a presence of secretion. This substance we call it as ground substance. This red color portion, those cells are secreted. These cells are secreted that substance. This substance is called a ground substance, which is acting as a base, or it is also called simply matrix. It is also called simply, we call it as matrix. Yes, matrix. Exact meaning for a tissue means tissue indicates group of cells. Along with the group of cells, the matrix which is present here, matrix also called a ground substance. The ground substance plus group of cells together is called a tissue. In introduction, last line you will get this one. What the tissue means in introduction, last line, the last statement, it will be there. Group of cells, along with the group of cells, the matrix, intercellular matrix, simply I call it as matrix, or it is also called intercellular matrix. Why it is called intercellular matrix? Inter means what? Between. Inter means between. Yes, cellular means what? Cells. In between these cells, that matrix is present, because of it is called intercellular matrix. Yes, this all is the ground substance, or it is also called matrix. And this matrix is made up with the polysaccharide, it is nothing but a sugar. It is nothing but a sugar, nothing but polysaccharide. Poly means what? Many. Saccharide means what? Sugar. Yes, direct statement they have given in your NCERT textbook. You make it as a, yes, the ground substance which is present in between the cells, it is a modified polysaccharide, or simply I can say it is nothing but a sugar. Who is secreting? The cells itself, they are secreting. These cells are only secreting. Okay, fine. Now we remember, along with these, the cell also contains, along with this, there is also presence of further different type of cells will be present like this. Like this, there is a presence of different type of cells, different shaped cells. These are the cells. Like this, there is a cells are present. And these cells, we call them as fibroblast. These cells, we call them as, what I represented with the blue color, those cells, we call them as fibroblast. Fibro, B-L-A-S-T. What is the meaning of blast? Blast, that indicates immature cell. Blast, that indicates immature cell, or the cell which have the capability to synthesize something. Yes, now this is the fibroblast, means which is an immature cell, and that cell have the ability to synthesize something. Yes, what it is synthesizing? It is synthesizing the fibers. It is synthesizing the fibers. Yes, this cell is secreting the fibers like this. Yes, all these are the fibers. Fibers are secreted from the cell which is known as the fibroblast. In this manner, there is a presence of fibers. In the ground substance also, there is a arrangement of all these are the fibers. Fibers will be present. And what is the use of these fibers? The fibers which are secreted from the fibroblast. Before going into that, fibers are made up of what? First of all, everything should be made up of something. For example, if you take the brick is made up of water, mud, clay soil we can say, or a red soil we can say. And this t-shirt, the t-shirt is, or the shirt, it is made up of a what? It is made up of a cotton. Now same like that only, fibroblasts are secreting something. What they are secreting? We call them as fibers. Why? Because very long. Fiber means what? Which is very long, thread-like substance. And this fiber is made up of what? Yes, these fibers are made up of protein. These fibers are made up of protein. Because of that only, these fibers we call them as proteinaceous fibers. Proteinaceous fibers. Fibroblast cells are secreting the fibers, and the fibers are made up of a protein, so it is called proteinaceous fibers, which are made up of amino acids. And you remember which protein? Which protein? The fibers are made up of either, most of the time the fiber is made up of the protein which is known as the collagen. The most abundant protein in the human being body is the collagen. The most abundant protein in the human being body is collagen. Don't forget this, keep this in your mind. So this protein, the fibers are made up with the protein. Which protein means mostly 90% of that protein is made up of the fiber is made up of the collagen protein. Sometimes it may be made up with the another protein. That protein is called elastin. That protein is called elastin. Yes, elastin. So don't forget to remember this. fiber is made up with the protein. Yes, most of the time which protein it is? The fiber is made up of collagen, and sometimes the fiber is made up of the elastin. And the color of the collagen is, if it is made up of a collagen, the color of the fiber will be white in color, and if it is made up with the elastin protein, at that time its color is yellow in color. Yellow in color. You should not forget that fibroblasts are secreting the fibers, and the fibers are made up of the protein. Which protein? Either maybe collagen or maybe elastin. If it is made up with the collagen, the color is white. If it is made up with the elastin, at that time its color is yellow. Its color is what? Yellow. Okay, fine. What is the use of these fibers? Fibers is responsible to show three properties. The fibers are responsible to show three properties. Yes, what are the three properties that the fibers are showing? Let me write here. The fiber is responsible, or let me write here. The fiber is responsible to provide strength. Point number 1. It is providing the strength. And point number 2, it is also responsible to provide the elasticity. And not only elasticity, it is also providing the flexibility of the tissue. As we are bending, we are moving, and this elastin, all these. So fibers are majorly, for example, bone. The bone is a connective tissue. It is having the fiber. Those are responsible to provide what? Strength. Those are responsible to provide what? Strength. Cartilage is a connective tissue. It is also having the fibers. It is responsible to provide what? Flexibility and as well as elasticity. So fibers are responsible to show strength, elasticity and flexibility. And the fiber is made up of the protein, which protein means we can say collagen, or sometimes it is made up with the elastin. Colors you have to remember. If it is made up with the collagen, it is white in color. If it is made up with the elastin, it will be in the yellow in color. Three properties you should not forget. Three properties. And this is the ground substance. What I represent with the red color, that ground substance is a polysaccharide, a modified polysaccharide. This that comes under the connective tissue. That's kind. So now you remember, in bone fibroblast cells are present. So in cartilage fibroblast cells are present. Yes, of course. And in adipose tissue also there is a presence of fibroblast cells. But in the blood the fibroblast cells are absent. In blood, the fibroblast cells are absent. Yes, here fibroblast cells are present means ability to secrete the fiber. But the blood doesn't contain fibroblast cells. So blood doesn't have the fibers. Why? Because blood is the fluid connective tissue. It have to be circulate, na? Except in blood, remaining all the connective tissue contains fibroblast, and those fibroblasts are secreting the fibers which are made up of the protein, either collagen or elastin, which is responsible to provide three properties like strength, elasticity and as well as the flexibility. This is the introduction or basic thing that you have to remember about the connective tissue. Now let's move on. The connective tissue is divided. Yes. Based upon the what? Connective tissue is divided based upon what? Just you remember. First, let me write here. Connective tissue. Yeah. Connective tissue. Just now I told tissue means group of cells. Yes. Group of cells. The connective tissue is divided into three types based upon the arrangement or location of the fibers. Three types of connective tissue we will discuss today. What is the three types of connective tissue? Number 1 is connective tissue. Number 2 is connective tissue. And number 3 is connective tissue. So funny. Connective tissue is of how many types? 3 types. What are the 3 types of connective tissue? Connective tissue. Yeah, what here? Connective tissue. Here you remember, here tissue means group of cells. In those group of cells are loosely they are present. So it is called loose connective tissue. All those cells are very far they are present. Means they are having long distance. So because of that they are very loose like a fluid they are present, like a fluid, but not fluid, they are loose, the cells. If you are holding the one person tightly means they are very dense. If a person looking, one person is somewhere, another person is somewhere, means loose, very long distance they are. So loose connective tissue. And the second case, group of cells are tightly present, so it is dense. So second type is the dense connective tissue. And the third type is all the tissue means group of cells, all the cells are specialized to perform so many functions. So it is called a specialized connective tissue. Yes, the connective tissue based upon the how the cells are packed, whether they are packed loosely, so it is loose connective tissue. If they are packed tightly, so it is a dense connective tissue. If the tissues, group of cells are responsible to provide the special functions, so it is a specialized connective tissue. Don't forget this. Now one by one let's discuss about the loose connective tissue, where the location, and next dense connective tissue, location, and next specialized connective tissue, location. Yes, now you remember loose connective tissue. Loose connective tissue. Now this loose connective tissue is once again it is of two types. Yeah, number one is the areolar connective tissue. Areolar connective tissue. This is the most abundant connective tissue in the human being body. The areolar, I told that connective tissue is the most abundant. In this connective tissue, which one is more? The most abundant connective tissue is the areolar connective tissue. Yes, fine. This areolar connective tissue contains what? This contains cells like, number one, it contains a cells like, number one is macrophages. Macrophages cells are present, and next mast cells, and next fibroblast cells are present, and along with that it also contains some WBC cells. What are those WBC cells? Means acidophil and neutrophil, all these cells will be present. So areolar tissue that consists of macrophages, and next some WBC cells and the mast cells, and as well as the fibroblast. And you might be knowing that because of presence of fibroblast, it have the ability to secrete what? Fibers. And the fiber is made up of what? Protein, either maybe collagen or it may be elastin, and they provide what? Strength, elasticity, and as well as the flexibility. How they are present? Let's take the diagram. Now for example, skin is the epithelial tissue. Epidermis. So if you remove the skin, after that we have the basement membrane. Later we have dense irregular connective tissue will be there, and under the skin, if you go deep, okay, not that much deeply, if just you peel out the skin, you will see the muscle. On the muscle there is a presence of cells. How? The diagram. So this is the square part where I removed my skin. Like this I removed. So just imagine that my skin is in the square manner. I removed the skin outside. Now this part I represented there. Yes, it contains firstly what cells? Macrophages, a type of WBC cell which contains nucleus is present, and along with the macrophage it also contains what? Mast cells. Here there is a presence of mast cell is present, and along with the mast cell it also contains what? Fibroblast. In this manner there is a presence of fibroblast, and the fibroblasts are secreting the what? Fibers. Yes, the fibroblasts are secreting, all these are the fibers, and you know fibers are made up of what, and what is the property of this, what property they are exhibiting, and in between these all there is a presence of a matrix. You know that. What matrix is this? All this is the intercellular matrix, or it is also called the ground substance. In this manner it is present, and this is the areolar connective tissue, and all these are the fibers like this. All these are fibers. In diagram it is there in your NCERT textbook, clear diagram they have mentioned, and in that diagram there is a chance to ask the diagrammatic question. So in that diagram you just represent the parts, observe the parts. This is what? A macrophage. It is what? A macrophage, and these are what cells? Mast cells, and this is what? Fibroblast, and these are what? Fibers. The fibers are made up of what? Collagen. So collagenous fibers we call them as. Why? Because they are made up with the collagen. So collagenous fibers. And along with that, in this region there is also presence of eosinophil, acidophil, a WBC cell. And in certain region here there is a presence of neutrophil. And here there is a presence of basophil. Cells are present. But in your textbook they are not given all the parts. So you have to write down all those names. You have to write down all those names. They have given only collagenous fibers they have given, macrophage they have given, and mast cell they have given, but remaining they didn't mention. Observe the diagram carefully. And this is present where? Yes, this is the skin, nothing but epidermis. Below the epidermis it is present, and by presenting in the below the skin, it is supporting the skin. Why? Because connective tissue major function is what? Supporting the other tissue. Yes, the connective tissue. Which connective tissue? Areolar connective tissue supporting the epidermal tissue, supporting the epidermis. You should remember that, supporting the epidermis. And after areolar tissue, second type of the loose connective tissue is adipose tissue. Adipose tissue. So you remember, adipose tissue we are discussing in loose connective tissue, and as well as adipose tissue we are also discussing in the specialized connective tissue. You remember that. In your NCERT textbook they have given, in one place they have given adipose tissue is the loose connective tissue, and in the summary they have given adipose tissue is the specialized connective tissue. So both are correct only. It is a part of both loose connective tissue and as well as the specialized connective tissue. And this adipose tissue, what is this adipose tissue means? Adipose means what here? Nothing but fat. You have eaten fully biryani. Full biryani you have eaten, or excess amount of sweet you have eaten, like sweets, etc., etc., full sweet substances you have eaten. All the sweet is not digested, and all the food is not digested. So excess after, okay, all will be digested, all will be digested, and the digested, all the food material is not utilized. How much our body require, that much amount is utilized, and the remaining amount of the excess amount of these nutrients is stored in the form of fat. Stored in the form of fat, and which is accumulated in the abdominal region, in the trunk region, or in the thighs, and accumulating under the skin. So adipose tissue means nothing but a fat storing. Tissue means what? Group of cells. These group of cells are specialized to store the fat. Yes, how the cell it will be? Yes, this is the cell, this is the cell, adipose fat cell, and inside of this fat cell the maximum it is storing what? Yes, it is storing the fat. All this is the fat. All this is the fat. Where is the cytoplasm? No, not there. It is storing fat. All this is the fat, and the nucleus is present in the peripheral region at very corner. Why? Because most of the cell is occupied. Why? Because the cell is storing what? Fat. So because of that only nucleus is not present in the center. In fat cells, nucleus is not present in center. It is present in peripheral, means in the corner. Most of the cell is occupied with the fat. Fat means the excess amount of the nutrients which is not utilized immediately, that excess amount of the nutrients is stored under the skin, that we call it as fat, or simply it is called as a adipose tissue. This areolar connective tissue and adipose tissue, these are the two examples of loose connective tissue. Loose indicates the group of cells are far away, and the fibers are also far away. The fibers are also far away. Because of that only they do not have much strength, so somewhat flexible. Next, come to the dense connective tissue. Next one is the dense connective tissue. Yes, fine. What is the meaning of dense? Dense, that indicates thick fibers. Fibers are thickly they are arranged. So now this dense connective tissue is once again classified into two types. The dense, so adipose tissue is present under the skin. Adipose tissue present under the skin. Areolar connective tissue is also present under the skin and supporting the epidermis. Nothing but epidermal tissue. It is nothing but it is supporting the epidermal tissue. Now come to the dense connective tissue. Dense means what? Thickly. Fibers here. Fibers. Now we remember group of cells. In that group of cells, fibroblasts are present, and those fibroblasts are secreting the fibers. And how those fibers are arranged? Orientation. They have given the word orientation. Orientation means nothing but arrangement. Orientation means nothing but arrangement. Based upon the arrangement of the fibers, collagenous fibers means that the word that indicating the fibers are made up of the collagen. So now we remember the orientation of, based upon the orientation of collagenous fibers, dense connective tissue is of two types. Yes. Now let's see. Here these are the fibers, like this the fibers are present. All these are the fibers and all these are the fibers. All these are the fiber, and this is the fiber bundle. This is the fiber bundle. This is the fiber bundle, and this is the fiber bundle. See, all the fiber bundles are arranged, orientated in a regular fashion. In a regular fashion, one by one, parallel to each other. And these are secreted from where? They are secreted from the cells. What cells are these? Yes, here there is a presence of fibroblast. Here there is a presence of fibroblast, and here there is a presence of fibroblast. You forgot about the fibroblast. And these are the black color is the collagenous fibers, and all the collagenous fibers are very near, so it is dense, and they are arranged in a regular manner, in a sequence they are arranged. Because of that only, this dense connective tissue is called, dense regular connective tissue. Dense regular connective tissue. Dense means near. Who are nearly present? Fibers are present, and they are arranged how? In a regular manner, in a sequence, and they have in the group of cells, so it is called dense regular connective tissue. And if the fibers are, in the second case, the arrangement of fibers, yes, this is the fiber bundle, and this is the another fiber bundle, and this is the another fiber bundle, and this is another fiber bundle, another fiber bundle, another fiber bundle, another fiber bundle, another fiber bundle. In this manner, see the arrangement means nothing but orientation. The orientation of the fibers in case of here, not in a regular fashion. Not in a all the bundles are arranged zigzag, 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 zigzag. Differently they are arranged, so they are not regular. So this is, but they are very near. Because of presence of near, it is also a dense, but not in the regular fashion, they are irregular fashion. So dense irregular connective tissue. So what I would like to say is, dense connective tissue is of two types, dense regular tissue and dense irregular tissue, where this dense regular connective tissue will present and where this dense irregular connective tissue will present. $1 million question. $1 million question. Where this dense regular connective tissue will be present and where this dense irregular connective tissue. You blindly remember the dense irregular connective tissue is present under the skin. Present under the skin or covering the visceral organs. Covering the visceral organs we can say, or it is blindly remember dense irregular connective tissue is present under the skin. So under the skin we have areolar connective tissue and we have adipose tissue, and as well as we have dense irregular connective tissue also under the skin. Now come to the dense regular connective tissue. Dense regular, where it is present. Okay, fine. Now let's come here. Where the dense regular connective tissue is present means the dense regular connective tissue is seen in the tendons, and as well as ligaments. Tendon and as well as ligaments. What is a tendon and what is a ligament? So tendon is made up of dense regular connective tissue. Ligament is made up of dense regular connective tissue. What is a tendon and what is a ligament? First of all, that you have to know. Yes, you remember tendon means which is connecting the muscle to bone. You remember this. Tendon means the connection between the muscle to bone. Just you remember, let me represent a small diagram to understand you clearly. For example, here there is a presence of a hand like this. A person's hand is present. A person hand. Like this, the person hand is this. And now the hand contains, here there is a presence of bone will be present. Two bones will be present, but I am not representing the two bones. I am representing only one bone. Yes, this is the bone, and here you have the one more bone which is known as humerus. The bone which is present here, which is known as humerus. Yes, this is the bone, humerus bone. And you remember here there is a presence of every human being. Here there is a presence of muscle like this. like this, there is a presence of muscle is present, biceps muscle, this muscle, biceps muscle. Now we remember this is the muscle and this is the bone and this is the bone. Now we remember this. Which color? Okay, fine. Now we remember, let me represent with the red color only. Now this muscle having attaching here fibers, all these are the fibers in regular fashion, all they are in the regular fashion, and all the fibers are joining to the bone like this. See, observe carefully, this is the muscle and this is the bone and this is the tendon. That is the tendon. This is what? Muscle. And it is what? Bone. The connection between muscle and bone is it what? Tendon. You remember MTB. There is one song, you know, one a Kannada superstar film, Upendra. I don't know the film name. If you know the film name, you give in the comment section. Kannada film superstar Upendra, one song is there. MTB Subbalakshmi. That song is there, na? You remember like that. MTB. M means muscle. B means bone, T means tendon. That is telling that muscle to bone connection is what? Tendon. Now same like that only, this is what? Muscle. And now it is what? Bone. So muscle to bone connection is what? Tendon. Muscle to bone connection is what? Tendon. This is the tendon and this is also the tendon, which is indicating muscle to bone connection. Now come to the ligament. What is a ligament? The ligament is BLB. So bone to bone connection is a ligament. So now we remember this is the bone and this is the bone, and these two bones are joined like this. The two bones are joined. So bone number 1 and bone number 2, these two bones are joined. So bone to bone connection is what? Ligament. Very strong. Why? Because they have to provide strength, na? Lifting up, you are raising, you are carrying heavy weight, means yes, the entire weight is carried by these ligaments and as well as tendons. At that time your muscle is contracting, whenever your muscle is contracting, automatically your hand is raising up. Why your hand is raising up when the muscle is contracting? Why? Because this muscle is attached to the bone, this bone. So because of that, this will automatically raise up. So you remember MTB Subbalakshmi song, you remember here. MTB, muscle to bone connection is a tendon and bone to bone connection is a ligament, and these ligament and a tendon having the fibers, and all the fibers are in the regular fashion. So because of that only it is a dense regular connective tissue. And what about the dense irregular connective tissue? It is present under the skin. And here the fibers are orientation is in a irregular zigzag, and here the fiber orientation is in a regular fashion, parallel to one by one in a row. Gradually they are present. That's all. Next, third type of connective tissue. What is the third type of connective tissue? Specialized connective tissue. I told initially the specialized connective tissue is 4. Already we discussed about the adipose tissue under the loose connective tissue, and now we have to discuss about the bone, cartilage, and as well as blood. Blood. Yeah, now let's discuss one by one. Bone followed by cartilage and followed by blood. In blood, fibroblasts are absent, so there is no secretion of fibers, because blood is the fluid connective tissue. Now let's discuss about cartilage and bone and followed by blood. Can I write here? Yeah, I can write here. Why to erase here? Yeah, now we remember, let's discuss about the cartilage first. So here I am going to write about the cartilage. Yeah, listen. This is cartilage. First you remember, cartilage is responsible for compressions. See, some pressure is applied means they will contract, compression. They are responsible for compression, and they are flexible. They can fold. And these flexible, so that name we call it as pliable. Plaible, pliable, which indicates flexible. And they are solid. Solid, not hollow. They are solid and pliable. Pliable means which are flexible. Yes, the cartilage is flexible. The cartilage is flexible. See, in this manner. So now we remember, cartilage is a tissue. Yeah, it's not an organ. Cartilage is a tissue. Tissue. Which tissue? Connective tissue. Tissue means group of cells. Yes, let's represent those cells. Those cells we call them as chondroblast. Chondroblast. What is the meaning of a blast? Immature cell. And this immature cell is secreting the one protein. That protein is called chondrin. That protein is called chondrin. Because of that only it is called chondroblast. Let me represent. Here there is a empty space will be present. So just imagine this is the empty space and this is the empty space in the cartilage and this is the empty space in the cartilage. And inside of this empty space there is a presence of cells like this. Yeah, hiding. These cells we call them as chondroblast. Chondroblast. Chondroblast means immature cell like this. And now this empty space is called what? This empty space is called lacunae. Lacunae. The empty space is called lacunae. Lacunae is the empty space and inside of that empty space there is a presence of chondroblast cells. Blast means what cells? Immature cell. And what they are secreting? They are secreting the protein. What protein they are secreting? They are secreting the protein into the intercellular space. And this protein is chondrin protein. So because of that only this is called chondrocyte. Cartilage is also called chondrocytes. Chondrin is the protein they are secreting. All this is the chondrin protein which is acting as a ground substance. And where these cartilages are present? The cartilages are present in so many parts. They are present here. Tip of the nose, it is a cartilage, flexible, see. And the ear, pinna, this is the pinna. It is a flexible. And as well as vertebral column, we have the vertebral column which having the discs like this. Like this we have vertebral column, disc shaped vertebral column, and this is the another vertebrae. In between these two vertebrae bones, there is a presence of cartilage. Because of that only we can able to show the limited movements. We can show the, why? Because it is flexible now. Because of that only we can show the movements. And most of the time in our body during embryonic stage bones are not present, maximum cartilage only. And later when the person embryo is turning into adult, some of the cartilages get fused and it turns into the bones. In most vertebrates, the cartilages are replaced by the bones and they are present in the tip of the nose and pinna of the ear or in between the vertebral column, discs of the vertebral column. So in this manner cartilage will be present. This is the theme, this is the concept they have given in your NCERT textbook. Apart from that nothing is there. Next you come to the bone. This is quite important. This is the bone. Bone is a which tissue? Specialized connective tissue. So let's discuss here bone. Let's discuss about bone here. Yeah, bone. Bone is also called osteon. Because of that only study of bone is called osteology. And the cartilage is also called what? Chondrin. Cartilage is also called chondrin. Bone is also called what? Osteon. Because of that only study of bone is called osteology. 1 minute. Sorry. bone which is also called osteon. Okay, fine. Now we remember, let's discuss about the bone. So now this is the long bone, very long bone, like this. There's a presence of long bone, and here you will see some plates which are known as epiphyseal plates, which are responsible for growth, elongation, height is depend upon this elongation of these epiphyseal plates. Like these epiphyseal plates are present, and here there is a presence of all this is the bone marrow. All this is the bone marrow, like this. All this is the bone marrow, and the color of this bone marrow is yellow. So because of that only it is called yellow bone marrow. Because if it is called yellow bone marrow, which is very dense. All this, while you're eating the chicken, you will feel the black color substance. All that is the yellow bone marrow. And now here this is called epiphysis, metaphysis, diaphysis. All the names are not required. In this part, epiphysis, which is very soft, Here there is a presence of red bone marrow, and once again here also there is a presence of bone marrow will be present, and this bone marrow is called red bone marrow, like this, like this, like this, like this, and this bone marrow is called red bone marrow. This is called red bone marrow. Yellow bone marrow, red bone marrow. Okay, fine. Now we remember what we have to discuss here means. What we have to discuss means, you make this sectional cutting of the bone. Like this, you make the sectional cutting. So now the bone is actually like this, and you make the sectional cutting, and you have to observe the bone in this manner. In this direction you have to observe. When you observing the bone in that direction, so this is diaphysis part, and this is epiphysis part, and this is the epiphyseal plates, and here you make the sectional cutting like this, and this is the bone marrow. Which bone marrow? Yellow bone marrow this is, and here we have to discuss, this is the wall. This wall we have to discuss. This wall we have to discuss. Okay, fine. What is present? Here also there is a presence of empty space. Empty space. As of I told, empty space is called what? Lacunae. Empty space is called what? Lacunae. And the lacunae contains initially, not lacunae, this is the one empty space where blood vessels are present. And this is called one canal. What canal is this? Means this canal is called Haversine canal. It is not in the NCERT textbook. But you can write Haversine canal. Haversine canal. This wall part, this diagram here, what the diagrams are present, that I am representing. This is the Haversine canal, and surrounding this Haversine canal, here there is a presence of cells, star-shaped cells, like this, not cells, empty space. All this is the empty space. This empty space we call it as what? Lacunae. That empty space we call it as lacunae. Yes, fine. And this lacunae contains our cells, which are known as osteocytes. All these are the osteocytes, or also called osteoblast. Blast means immature cell. So let's represent osteoblast. Blast means immature. Osteo means what? Bone. They are making. And these cells are secreting the matrix. Protein they are secreting here like this. In this manner they are secreting like this, in this circle only. And once again here there is a presence of one more lacunae, and here one more lacunae, and here one more lacunae, and here one more lacunae, and one more lacunae, and one more lacunae. And each lacunae contains cell. What cell? Osteocyte, and osteocyte, and osteocyte. And these osteocytes are secreting the protein, matrix. In this manner there is a secretion of matrix. Like this, there is a secretion of matrix will be secreted. So now you remember, this is the canal, Haversine canal, and surrounding this Haversine canal we have osteocyte cells, and those are secreting the matrix, and surrounding to that layer once again we have osteocyte cells surrounding secreting the matrix. So all these we call it as Haversine system. Where this is present, you go here, wall of the bone. This wall of the bone, there is a presence of Haversine systems. How many Haversine systems are present? Many. In your NCERT textbook they have given one a dark line, dark spot they have given, that is nothing but Haversine canal, and they represented some circles, one after one, and one after one, like this. This is the dark part. This is the Haversine canal, and these are the osteocyte cells where they are present, and they are secreting the ground substance, and all this together we call it as Haversine system, and this opening is called as Haversine canal. That's all. That is about the bone, that what they have given. And bone is responsible for providing so many functions. It will provide the structural framework for us, and the bone is a non-pliable substance. It is not flexible. It is a pliable substance which is flexible, and the bone is a non-pliable substance, and it is a solid and it is a hard, solid and a non-pliable substance is the bone. and the bone is responsible to carrying the weight. In case of animals, entire of our body is carried by the bones in the limbs, like hind limbs and as well as forelimbs. Hind limbs means legs, forelimbs means hands. In case of animals are walking with forelimbs na, so entire body is acting on forelimbs. So, and the bones are also responsible for synthesis of blood cells. Which bone? Means this bone marrow. This bone marrow is responsible for synthesis of blood cells. Blood cells. And the last connective tissue, last specialized connective tissue is what? Blood. Yes, a small concept they have given regarding blood we are going to discuss later. Blood is a fluid connective tissue that you have to remember, where fibroblasts are absent and where fibers are also absent. So why? Because it have to circulate, now it should not be present in a constant place, it have to circulate. So blood is a fluid connective tissue. It is a connective tissue, but not in the solid form, in the liquid form. So fluid connective tissue. And the blood contains majorly two components. Blood contains majorly two components. Fluid. The another name for fluid is plasma. The another name for fluid is plasma, which is of approximately 55% in the blood. 55% in the blood. In body fluids and circulation we will discuss. And the remaining 45% is cells, and those cells are present in blood, so they are called blood cells, or also called formed elements. And how many types of blood cells? 3 types of blood cells are present. 3 types of blood cells. Number 1, it is the cell present in blood and its color is red. So red blood cell, RBC. Cell present in blood and its color is red, so it is red blood cell, RBC. And cell that is present in blood and it is colorless or white in color, so it is a WBC. Cell present in blood, color is white, so white WBC, white blood cell. And last one is the platelets. Platelets are also called thrombocytes. RBC is also called erythrocyte. WBC is also called leukocyte. Regarding this, we will discuss deeply in the human physiology, body fluids and circulation. Just to remember, blood is the fluid connective tissue, which is how many components? 2 components. Fluid, what is the fluid? Plasma, which is 55%, and blood cells, which is of 45%. The types of blood cells, how many? 3. RBC, WBC, platelets. And all the blood cells are synthesized in the red bone marrow, not in the yellow bone marrow. Red bone marrow is the site for the synthesis of blood cells. And the process of synthesis of blood cells is called hemopoiesis. It is not in the syllabus. Hemopoiesis. Poiesis means synthesis. Hemo means blood. The synthesis of blood cells is called hemopoiesis. Especially RBC synthesis means erythropoiesis. Why? Because the another name for RBC is erythrocyte. Na? So it's not in the syllabus here. You forgot that. You stick on to completely NCERT. Some additional words, if I remember, I will tell that. The synthesis of blood cells is called hemopoiesis, or synthesis of blood is called hemopoiesis. Poiesis means synthesis. Hem means blood. That's all. This is about the connective tissue what they have given in your NCERT textbook. That's all. So you have a quick recap. Yes, and if you want to take, you can take a screenshot, and you can. And I'm ending with this connective tissue. And tomorrow and next video I will come with the muscular tissue and as well as the neural tissue. And later we can go for the earthworm followed by the cockroach followed by the frog. We move on to that one and end in this session. Hope you enjoyed the class. If you enjoyed the class, don't forget to subscribe the channel and comment the channel and asking the doubts. Thank you all of you. See you.